Welcome to the Happiness and Success After Illinois Tech podcast with the Illinois Tech alumni. We're so happy you're here, and we can't wait for you to be inspired from all these real-life stories of people that attended Illinois Tech, graduated, and found success. No matter your major, your background, or where you're from, success and happiness are possible, and here are the stories to prove it. This week is Lauren Hensel. Welcome, Lauren.
Hi.
Nice to have you here. So, Lauren, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell everyone when you graduated Illinois Tech with your bachelor's and your master's and what you studied. We'll start with that, and then we'll jump into the next question. So tell everyone,
Sure.
how'd you discover Illinois Tech?
So actually, I was a recruited student athlete for the women's volleyball team. Came on a tour of campus, and I really loved it. I had other offers, full scholarship offers from universities all over the U.S., but Illinois Tech just felt right. It was close to home and a really high quality education, especially for a first generation college student like myself. I graduated with a bachelor's in technical communications in May of 2006, and then went back to school for my master's in public administration and graduated in December of 2017.
Cool. I don't think I've heard of the technology or technical communications. I don't think I've heard of that one.
Yeah, it used to be, I believe it was professional and technical communications, and then it switched to technical communications, and now I'm not sure if it has changed its name again.
What's the difference? So what makes it different than regular communications, if you don't mind? I had never heard of that one.
Yeah, so technical communications, you have to be able to span the scientific and math side of things and be able to convert stuff into layman's terms or into simpler language for the everyday person to understand. Nice. So you still have to take math and science courses and computer programming, but then you also have to take journalism and intercultural communications and editing and all that stuff.
Cool. It's a cool major, and it's definitely needed because a lot of people will say, how technical, especially technical people that are really good at diving in and in the nitty gritty, they won't be able to actually dumb it down for people like me that aren't super technical and just get it in a way that everyone can understand it. I did software training in my earlier career, and that was one of those skills where it was a big ask of clients, and any corporation I worked for was like, we need technical people that can talk to these clients and talk to these other people on this other side and help them understand what's what, because they're overwhelmed when a technical person talks to them. And so it's a big skill. It's interesting that they had that major, but I know that that's still a deficit because we hear it from employers too. It's like, okay, we need someone who can write well and speak well and present to people in a way that everyone can understand. Yeah, not just a technical person. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then how did you decide to go back for public administration?
I had spent basically my entire career has been in higher education or nonprofits. So I just figured an MPA was the next natural step to kind of gain experience and be able to move up in my professional career within the nonprofit sector. So I looked at a bunch of other universities, but at the end of the day, Illinois Tech just felt like home.
That's funny. So what do you do? What's your role now? Do you use you studied at Illinois Tech first and then with the master's degree, do you use it all now? And did you change, or did you graduate and say, okay, I want to do something a little bit different?
So now in my current role, I'm a president of a nonprofit called Smart Love Family Services. We have a staff of just over 40 individuals, ranging from early childhood educators to licensed clinical social workers and psychotherapists to therapeutic tutors and post-secondary counselors. So, I'm using my organizational skills that I built through the master's program, as well as a lot of financial aspects and strategic planning. But I also am using that technical writing side as well, because I have to create campaign strategies to help bring in donors and create strong stewardship plans.
Wow. What's the name of your nonprofit? What's the
Smart Love Family Services.
What's the main goal of it?
So they take an intrapsychic humanism approach to basically help children learn better, to help people find their genuine inner happiness through therapy, and to have young people find joy in school, by finding their own inner happiness and kind of working with them in a really positive manner to address any traumas or issues that they're having.
Okay, cool. Do you talk
Yeah.
about, I'm just curious, we're doing a new program at Illinois Tech called the Scarlet C-Suite, and it's all professional development skills for career success. And one of the workshops is about strengths, knowing your strengths. We use the Clifton Strength Finder survey for the students. Do you
Yeah.
guys talk about those at all? I'm just curious when you're teaching the young kids.
So young kids, I mean, we're early childhood
Okay,
education. So we're with the really littles, like 2 to 6 years old,
okay,
in our Logan Square site. Our therapeutic tutors work with students through a range of grades, everything from kindergarten through high school. The Strengths Finder will probably come into play as we are in the process of developing our post-secondary counseling program that will take a more therapeutic approach. So we'll be helping students find their best choices for post-secondary options after they graduate high school. And so we'll
okay.
be using strengths finders and all different careers assessments, ONET interest profiler, that sort of thing.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so fun to talk to them about it. Like a lot of them never even heard the concept. And I wish I had it in junior high and high school. And there probably were some sort of career assessments that were similar, but this one is fun because it's like, no, I think the stat is 1 in 33 million people have the same top five strengths as you in the same order. It's 1 in 33 million. So I'm just,
See, it just
it's so,
shows that everybody is so unique and that you really do
yes,
have gifts to bring to the world. And if we
yes,
approached everyone, this is more so the smart love approach as well. If we approached everything as this is a strength and this will bring you joy versus this is a deficit that you have to overcome. So we take a much more positive approach towards what we're doing with young
that's,
people.
that's awesome. Seeing it that way, seeing themselves that way is just because it would just allow them to be happier, like you were saying so much earlier, than saying, okay, I'm not good at this. I'll just keep getting better at it. It's like, well, it's not, you could do that a little bit, but that's not really where you're going to be
Yeah.
super happy. Yeah. That's awesome. Good for you. That's awesome.
Thank
So when you first graduated with that bachelor's degree, how did you apply for internships or jobs, or what was what worked well for you, and what would you
Yeah,
recommend?
Illinois Tech was very different back then than what it is now. Since my major was much newer in that technical communications realm, there weren't really a lot of internships through career services. So I instead worked on campus and institutional advancement during my entire 4 years at the university. And then worked all summer, took a full class load all summer because I didn't come in with any advanced placement credits. So my parents didn't have the money to pay for additional years. Instead, I really focused on the job hunt. So I had interviews with the Chicago Children's Museum as a development associate. I had an interview at institutional advancement on Illinois Tech's campus, as well as undergraduate admissions at Illinois Tech. And I had a terrible fear of public speaking. And I said, I really have to get over this. And the position that's going to allow me to do that is working in admissions because I have to talk to people every single day.
Right.
So when I got the job offer in admissions, I took it and kind of just continued working in education from there on out. Spent time as a head men's and women's volleyball coach and a director of performing arts and athletic admissions, as well as associate athletic director at what is now Roosevelt University. It was
Yeah.
Robert Morris University. And then switched over to competitive prep schools, and I was director of admissions and marketing at Morgan Park Academy for a short bit before my husband got a job opportunity overseas in the Netherlands, and went over there and started my own post-secondary counseling practice where I was helping students get into universities all around the world.
Cool. That's so cool. What an interesting career journey you've had. It's like you've done a lot of really cool things and gone to live somewhere else and then come back, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
I haven't met anyone that's had similar experiences, so it's neat to talk to you. It's always a winding path, but yours
yeah.
is, yeah, it's so cool. Good for you.
Mine's
That's
got
awesome.
some loops and curves in it. You go overseas, and a lot of times, if you're not a bilingual or you're not fluent in the local language, it's very, very difficult as the accompanying spouse to find a job. So, a lot of accompanying spouses, when they go overseas on kind of this immigrant expat journey, they end up starting their own businesses in a variety of areas. I was just lucky that I knew a lot about universities after spending so much time in them that I was able to build a really successful business out of it.
So interesting. I had a very different career path, but I'm now in working for Illinois Tech, obviously, but I'd never worked in a university before this last year. And I never even thought about working in a university. I love learning. I love going to school. I have 2 degrees, a master's and a bachelor's, but I loved it. My husband used to joke, he used to say, it's too bad you can't get paid to go to school. Because I love learning so much. And now I'm like, I'm getting paid to be at a school and teach when I'm, obviously career guidance
Yes.
and all the stuff that I'm doing. But it's so fun to be in it because I get to be around new things all the time, new people, new ideas, new questions, and it's the best of both worlds for me. But I wish I had discovered that sooner. I was in software training and leadership development and all kinds of corporate training over the years, but it's just fun to be at schools because there's always something changing, new
I
majors
feel
coming
like
up.
it keeps you young. Working
Yeah,
in university, it keeps you young. You know what the newest trends are, but also you're getting to still change lives
yeah,
before people really go out into the real world and
yeah.
secure a job.
It's so cool. It's so cool. So as you were here, and then obviously you left and then came back and got your degree, and that did a lot in between. Is there anything you wish you'd known a little sooner when you went back to graduate school? Is there any, like when you were getting your bachelor's, you wish you had done a few things differently, or just curious about that?
Yeah, I think that there's a lot when you're a first generation college student that you just don't know because your family has never gone to university. They can't really help you navigate um, kind of that new environment. So for me, like I just wish I would have known the importance of networking and going to all sorts of career fairs and things like that because growing up to in a family of blue collar workers, it was go hand your resume out door to door, you'll find a job. But that's reality is that's not how the hiring system works anymore, especially once you get into white collar work and management positions. You really have to network and have strong personal connections who can recommend you and kind of vouch for your abilities and your strengths, especially if you're changing out of careers somewhere. So, going from higher ed into something else, people usually question like, how much do your skills transfer over? So it's always good to have that broader network that
Yeah,
can say, yeah, they have the skills to transfer these areas of expertise.
yeah, that's so true. Transferable skills are big. Okay, so what about advice? Like did you learn a lot from people and professors and staff at Illinois Tech? Did you have good mentors in your life? What was some of the better advice you've been
Yeah,
given?
I mean, Illinois Tech was great because I got to do a little bit of everything. I wasn't kind of put into a box.
Mhm.
So not only did I get to be an athlete, I was able to be in a sorority with Alpha Sigma Alpha. I was able to get a major and 2 minors. I was able to work on campus while still going to school, and then play on the varsity volleyball team and then eventually work for the school newspaper as a staff writer so I could hone my writing skills and become editor in chief. Like being at a smaller school allowed me to have breadth and depth in my opportunities, and not every university offers that.
So true. It's definitely a big advantage here. We used to joke with our kids, do you want to be a big fish in a small pond or a
Yeah.
small fish in a big pond? Yeah,
Yeah, and I
because you
mean
get,
that's why there's different schools for different students and different personalities and what someone's eventual aim is. I kind of just went into university wanting to get a bachelor's degree. I'm the first one in my family to have a bachelor's degree. Um, but I think it would have been much harder for me at a big school because I would have gotten lost.
yeah,
And Illinois Tech took a chance on a first gen college student. I did not have the best test scores. I had an amazing GPA and all the extracurriculars, but my test scores weren't great and they took a chance on me and it's been life changing.
yeah, that's awesome. I love to hear those stories. Okay, so anything else you want to add as far as
I
for
think
student? Yeah, for like it's a new age. It's a lot different from when you were here graduating from your bachelor's, but obviously master's wasn't too long ago. Like anything new you want to add or consider talking
I
to
think
students?
it's I do think it's important. Students need to understand that networking and building your social and cultural capital is so imperative in the modern day and in career services. You could be a straight A student, but if you have no network, it's going to be still very hard to get a job.
Yeah.
So it is really important to get the experiential learning, whether that's through the interprofessional projects or working on campus or volunteering or doing summer jobs and internships. Having those experiences is really key. And that's something that I didn't know when I was in my bachelor's program. I learned it more so in my master's and then once I moved overseas. But I really think students should just take every opportunity that's in front of them, because if you're not going to take it, someone else will. Um, so it's really important to, even if you're an introverted person, to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and do things that they might give you a little bit of fear, but what's on the other side of that fear? Is it the greatness that you think you deserve? Because if so, it's worth walking through the fear. And for me, the fear was public speaking. Like, I was so terrified of it, and I walked through the fear, and it's led to really great things.
Great point. Yeah,
And I
you were
also
saying,
think people need to have relationships with their professors. You can't just not show up to class and think, if you have all your finals on one day and you need a final moved, like, they'll be more apt to give it to you if you've shown up to class. So really get to know your professors. They're not there just to stand in front of a classroom and lecture you or help you with labs. They're there to help guide you and mentor you and make sure you make it through university.
yeah, I tell the students that all the time. I told my kids that my older one went graduated from 2019 from Illinois Tech, and the younger one's a senior. And I just say the same thing. I'm like, if at least you'll get the benefit of the doubt. Show up, they'll know who you are. Go to class all the time. You need a favor at the end. Chances are, it'll be in your favor. But if you just never go and then ask for a favor, they're not first of all, they're not gonna know you. You have no relationship. Back to your networking and building relationships with the people, that goes a long way. And you're making their job easier by showing up and participating. And that's why they're there. They want people to see people grow and help people learn. And they can't do that if you don't participate and you don't show up.
Exactly. And, the more engaged you are in class, the better you're going to retain all the information that they're giving you. And, the more active you are on campus, a lot of times you can balance your coursework better, and you have a better work-life balance. So you can, have some restful time, have some fun outlets, and then still achieve professional success. So
Absolutely.
you just really need to make the most of the opportunity in front of you.
I like what you said about the introverts, because a lot of people will say, well, that I'm introverted, so I'm not going to go for that thing or whatever. I would say even more, you need to do it, because there's going to be other people graduating with your same degree that are introverted, smart, and a little bit nervous about taking these opportunities.
Yeah.
And it will help you stand out. If everyone else has all of those things in common, and you are a little bit better of a speaker or a better writer or have a little bit bigger of a network, that's what's going to help you. I always say, like, get to the top of that pile, the resume pile, and get called for that interview. You will be standing out. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do think it's so important to have a faculty member that can serve as a mentor and a guide for you. I was very fortunate to find that in my master's program with Dr. Joanne Howard. I moved abroad before I was going to finish my master's degree, and she offered to supervise me and let me finish it from a distance. Otherwise, I wasn't going to graduate with my master's, and I had
That's
two
awesome.
classes left. She's like, "I'll supervise the two classes. You'll do all the work from abroad, and you'll graduate." And she was really instrumental in helping me come back to the U.S. When I was looking for jobs. She connected me with the search firm that was hiring for the position I now have. Um,
Wow.
so it's, if you can maintain 1 to 2 good mentorship relationships with a professor, you never know what's going to be in the future for you. You just really don't.
It's so true. My son's an example, the older one too. He ended up getting his second internship from one of the professors because he was asking questions, showing up all the time. He had another internship the year before that he didn't really like, and then he got this other one and put in a good word for him. But you're not putting in a good word for someone you don't know. You're not putting in a good
Yeah.
word for someone that doesn't show up. Yeah. So it's so true, and it's just great advice. I really appreciate your advice and your time. And
Yeah, not a problem. And it's hard. I know Illinois Tech has a lot of first generation students, And there's kind of this fallacy, like if you work really hard, the opportunities will come. It's like you have to work really hard, but you also have to ask for help when you need it, and you have to network, because hard work does get you really far, but it doesn't get you as far as having all three.
Yes.
So it's important for them to build those other skills, their interpersonal skills and their willingness to ask for help. I now have 2 children, and I always tell them, like, smart people try first and then they ask for help. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it's great advice. I love that. Try first, then ask for help. Yep. And then at least you can say, I already tried this and it didn't work.
Yes,
Can you help me? Yes. I say the same thing to my kids. It's like, now you're just saying, I have a problem. Will you help me solve it? You're saying, I tried to solve it on my own and it didn't work, or I didn't get all the way there. Here's what I tried. Do you have any recommendations? And it just,
exactly.
people want to help you more because you're saying, I'm not just saying, do you got anything, like being lazy about it. It's a mindset. Yeah.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. And so my freshman year, I didn't ask for help so much. So I learned very quickly that I needed to ask for help when I was on campus after my freshman year.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
Everyone's got to learn at their own pace. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
So I always say ask for help because it is out there. You just have to be willing to ask for it and receive it.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, Lauren. It was nice talking to you.
It was so wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm happy I reached out. How can people get a hold of you? Is LinkedIn the best way if they want to ask questions
Yes.
or connect?
Yeah, LinkedIn is absolutely the best way to get a hold of me. And I'm in Chicago. I'm always willing to talk with students or go to coffee with them because it's a big world out there. And, every little bit of help that they can get is important.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, Lauren. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Take care. Thanks for listening, everyone. Check out the Illinois Tech Connect platform. It's the official networking site for Illinois Tech alumni. It's operated by Illinois Institute of Technology Alumni Association with help from Career Services. The aim of the platform is to connect our entire alumni community to provide a space for communication, networking, and other opportunities. Also, join the Illinois Tech Career Services group on LinkedIn and learn about all things career related. And be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Finally, as an alum, whenever you need career guidance or advice, you're always welcome to connect to the Career Services Department, make an appointment with a career coach, and take advantage of this lifelong resource available to all alumni. We can't wait to help you, and more importantly, we can't wait to see what you do.